The piece of music you're currently listening to is best known as the Devil's Trills Sonata, written by the Italian composer Giuseppe Tartini. It's the Violin Sonata in G minor. Apparently, Tartini wrote this piece of music after waking up from a dream where he was met by the devil playing the violin. Mesmerised by the devil's brilliant and awe-inspiring playing, Tartini attempted to recreate what he had heard. However, despite only hearing it once in this dream played by the devil, the music was so inspiring he wrote a 16-minute banger that sounds absolutely stunning to this day. I do wish that when the devil sits on my bed at night, the demon that visits me inspires me as much as this, instead of telling me to get out of bed, go to work and drive a van for a living. For today's video, we're going to be exploring trills and dynamics in the three most common music notation softwares available: MuseScore Studio, Sibelius Ultimate and Dorico Pro. Because if you compose your music in notation and not in a DAW, there's some things you can do now that will take your playing from robotically devilish to beautifully human straight from the score. So with that in mind, let's get stuck in. Right, here we are in Sibelius Ultimate. Now I know some of you might be thinking, blimey Paul, trills and dynamics. Really? Is this the most exciting video you can make? Well, no, it's not, but I've got to say that I've been quite impressed with an update from one of these softwares we're going to be looking at today, and I thought it's only fair that we compare all three of them, Sibelius Ultimate, Dorico Pro and MuseScore, to get a fair comparison of what you can now achieve in your chosen notation software. And I'm going to be using the same musical masterpiece for this demo. It's the most beautiful G melodic minor scale you've ever heard in your entire life, played with a violin. There you go. Amazing. Now, in Sibelius, we can do some stuff with trills that is quite handy. And I want to show you how to input dynamics so we can compare the three of the softwares we're going to be looking at today. How easy is it to input stuff? So we're going to start looking at dynamics first. And in Sibelius, we use what's called expression text. And to do that, if you're on Mac, it's Command E. If you're on PC, it's Alt E. And I'm just going to highlight that note there. I'm going to press Command E. You'll see the cursor is flashing. I'm going to input some dynamics. I'm going to come to this note here. I'm going to input some more dynamics, and let's put a hairpin between the two. Boom. There you go. It's that quick. Now, if we were on a full symphony score here, I could have put that over the entire thing in one go. It's brilliant. It's really quick. I love the feature in Sibelius. Right, so I'm going to play this back, and then we're going to be looking at this trill. Beautiful scale there. Right, now some of you will have noticed the playback line is slightly out of sync with the notes. Now I'm using Note Performer, the latest version, the native version of the sounds for the playback of this. It was supposed to stop that in a previous update. I think it's affected by my video software. It's not a problem with this with Note Performer, but I do find sometimes if I'm using Note Performer, especially if I'm recording the screen, the playback line is slightly out of sync. So if that annoys you, I can only apologise in advance. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm just going to rewind that to the beginning. And you could have heard when it went through that trill, it was kind of slowish, mildly robotic, but it's about as good as you can get in Sibelius. But you can tweak it a little bit. And let me show you. I'm just going to left click on that line and highlight it. And I'm going to open the inspector. And we can see that we've got some speed settings here. We can change the interval that it starts on. It's automatically going to do the diatonic version, but we can fix it to a different one if we want. We can play it straight. We can start on an upper note or a lower note. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to change the speed here. So let's double it and see how this sounds. Okay, so that's about as much flexibility as you have with the playback with Trills in Sibelius. Now, I've spent ages, and I do mean a long time, playing around with this feature. And if you have lots of different trills hidden on lots of different tied notes or lots of different notes that you don't want tied together, but you can put slurs in just to fake it, I have to be honest with you though, it's more hassle than it is worth. And everyone out there shouting at the screen now saying that's what doors are for. Yeah, I'll give you that one. In Sibelius, if you're going to do that in your playback, it's easier to muck about with that in Logic or Cubase or whatever. Trust me, you'll put your fist through your monitor. It's not worth the hassle, all right? But you can tweak it slightly with adjusting the speed and the note it starts on and stuff like that, all right? And you do that in the inspector as we're looking at here, okay? So that's dynamics and trill playback in Sibelius. Now let's take a look at what happens in MuseScore Studio. Okay, here we are over in MuseScore Studio. If you've never heard of MuseScore and you're into music notation, I highly recommend you check it out because it's quickly becoming an amazing software to use, especially if you only write for solo instruments or a small ensemble like a string quartet, for example. It's just brilliant. It's free. The sounds that come with it for free are amazing. And if you want to treat yourself to some of the Muse Sounds updates from Berlin Symphony, from Orchestral Tools or Spitfire Audio, or the others that are available, it's just on a different level of lovely. But today, we're going to be checking out this trill and the dynamics. And starting with this trill marking, if I highlight that, we have lots of options for the interval and the notes it plays. But currently I cannot find anywhere to adjust the speed of this trill. So I'm just going to play it back and you'll hear what I mean. Okay, it's played back a basic scale and a trill as expected, but I can't find anywhere and I spent ages looking. So if anybody does know where it is, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. But I cannot adjust the speed of that trill playback. I've looked everywhere, can't find it. All right. Unlike Sibelius, where we could tweak the speed from slow to quick with that inspector setting, I can't seem to find a setting like that in MuseScore Studio. Hopefully that will be rectified in upcoming updates. But that's not really the big deal with this video. The big deal in this video is how we put in dynamics, because previously it was a bugbear in MuseScore to put dynamics in. You had to drag them off the palette with the mouse. But now we can finally input them as easily and quickly in MuseScore as we can in Sibelius. Instead of using Command E, we use Command D. Command D, D for dynamic, which is handy. And we get this new dynamic popover. I'm going to input my dynamic. I'm going to escape out of that option. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to escape out of that option, and I'm going to put a hairpin between the pair. Boom. As quickly as Sibelius, you can now do it in MuseScore. That is a huge deal, especially if you're writing solo instruments or string quartets. It's so much quicker and it's brilliant. Check it out. It's amazing. Now I'm going to play this back and you can hear the dynamics work. Okay, so dynamics on MuseScore finally moved into the modern era of notation, and hopefully the trill playbacks will too. But I highly recommend you check out MuseScore because it's absolutely amazing. But now let's have a look at Dorico Pro. What can you do in there? Okay, here we are in Dorico Pro. Right then, so I'm going to highlight this note here. I'm going to press Shift D. I'm going to enter the dynamic. I'm going to do the same with this note here. And I'm going to put a hairpin between the two. Boom, as quickly as you can in MuseScore or Sibelius. That's not really what we're going to be looking at today. I'm just going to press play and you can hear what we're going to be talking about. Finally, you can adjust the speed of trills without affecting the tempo of the piece completely. Okay, it's absolutely lovely. With Dorico, it gives you an absolute ton of options. If I just highlight that trill mark there and come down to the lower panel here, you will see that you can you can select a start and an end speed. I've selected slow and fast. You put a desired speed in for the slow and a desired speed for the fast, and it plays it back just like that. But it also adjusts the trill line graphically to show you the increase in speed. So when you give this part to a player, they know what your intention is with the graphical line they're given in the score. And it does that automatically. So if I change the start speed to fast and the end speed to slow, you see what happens with that line. It changes automatically to show what your intention is. And if we take this back to the beginning and play it, you'll hear what it sounds like. Okay, not great in that example. We'd need to do some work in the play tab with these two notes there, but straight out of the box, you just do that and you can get a result that's unachievable in Sibelius and MuseScore currently. I have to say, if you're new to Dorico and you're just getting into it, once you explore the features that this software has to offer, give yourself plenty of time because you will be playing around with them for ages. It's astonishing the level of control you now get from a notation software that thinks like a DAW. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the content, please do consider subscribing and liking and commenting, all that you usually do. And hopefully I'll see you again soon for the next one, where we'll be looking at something equally as exciting.